national resources gone to friends and family. You give a Mercedes to a man with a bicycle who can't even drive and don't have a license. Then they turn around and say, Guyana, you owe we. First bill 100 million in our currency. When I ask Robert, he say, no, not me. The people who get the black, them I never see. I say, Robert boy, what was on your mind? He said, don't ask me, it's the liars who signed. Uncle Donald, shame on you. I never thought you would have done that.
Good night. You are listening to the Glenn Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio, where the publisher of Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lall, gets into an impassioned discussion with his staff and you, the public, about the management of our natural resources and our wealth at large. So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about renegotiation. That will be the focus of the notorious ExxonMobil deal, and perhaps we can branch out into other topics depending on the direction of the boss. So, Mr. Lall, good night, and over to you.
Good night to you. Well, good night to the guys in the radio room. I want to begin by telling you, over the weekend, I spoke with a political leader in which he said, Glenn, the oil companies are urinating on our heads and telling us it's rain. They are also telling us we should drink it. That's where we as Guyanese are. The same thing they're doing with the flaring. Flaring is okay. But I don't want to get down into that. Let me begin tonight's program as was advertised, and let's talk about contract renegotiation. All my life I believe that every contract, any contract, can be changed. And there isn't a person that I have spoken with that says this contract cannot be changed. None of them. Everyone, including oil players, says it can be changed. But, is the but, Guyana? Changes have to come from our leaders. Glenn Lall and all of us can talk, we can shout, we can fight. We can tell our leaders to put their feet and hands on it. They're the bosses, and it's them have to demand that kind of change. You have seen the silence from all of them. Why are they behaving like this? Glenn Lall doesn't know. This is a beautiful country with beautiful people all over. Thank you guys for being so beautiful. Just to refresh your memory, let me repeat what oil companies does when them come to your country. The first thing they do, they line the pockets of the politicians. They create chaos and confusion. And while we the people fight among ourselves, they fetch away your resources. That is something what they have done right across this world. A man named Sani Abacha. Sani Abacha was the head of state of Nigeria. He died while in office at the age of 54 and didn't get to enjoy it. Enjoy it. His family formed a criminal organization that almost stole Nigeria blind. The prosecutor for that case says they have asked all the banks in Switzerland to give them information within 24 hours on him and his family. Them don't catch up. They catch up a lot of money in the Bahamas, in Nassau, in Cayman Islands, and all over the world, even in Switzerland. That head of state, Sani Abacha, they said he would have stolen in excess of $5 billion US dollars. They got back 3.6 billion so far. This is the kind of things oil players condone and supports all over the world with politicians. And it is already going on here, right here in Guyana. We will talk more on this very soon. Keep your eyes and ears open. Glenn Lall is here. Have no fear. See the big man above? Text Sani Abacha at 54. I am certain, had he not stolen them poor people money in Nigeria, he would have still been the president, enjoying the fruits of life. Guyana, that investigation is still going on. But while that is going on, 95 million of the citizens, that's half the population of Nigeria, is living with less than 400 Guyana dollar a day in extreme poverty. Listen, guys, just Google it. Just Google that story and you would see how the man fetch away money by the truckloads from the banks. That's what he did. And many other war leaders did that. You know, I love a caller who didn't give me his name, but he said to me, Mr. Lall, I don't care if my blood pressure goes up. I just want to listen to you. I am learning a lot when I listen from you. I just want to say a special good night to you, sir, and all Guyana again. Lots of persons who listen to this program keeps asking me, Glenn, is there a solution to these oil contracts? Glenn Lall, can we renegotiate these contracts? Mr. Lall, can we change them? Can we get our leaders to push for that change? Because of hearing those things from the different people out there, I put together this topic tonight. Hear me loud, loud, Guyana. The answer is a big, it's a huge, it's a gigantic yes. 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 We can get changes in all those oil contracts. But you have to call on the leaders to get it done. Tell them after you have listened to me, it can be done. It must be done. Tell them to stop sitting on their faces and get it done. Nobody has to go to the primary school, much as a university, to know that any contract can change or renegotiate it. Any fool, any idiot knows that. All over the world it has happened. It happened in Sudan. Russia, Papua New Guinea, Trinidad, Iraq, Indonesia, Liberia, and many others. The sad part with them countries is that the changes came 50, 60, 70 years after the oil would have trickled down to low gravy. When the oil and gas near done, just like Trinidad fighting up now, fighting for catch up with the little crumbs that left. But they were able recently to change them contract. Just listen to a real leader, a boss, TNT Prime Minister. He spoke 2 years ago at an oil conference held in Trinidad and Tobago. Please listen carefully. Play that tape with him.
In recent years, as leader of the opposition, and more so as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, I have had the opportunity to interact very directly with the people who are, to put it simply, the movers and shakers in this hydrocarbon industry.
Yes, there you hear it from the Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister. He was able to renegotiate their oil gas contracts and get a better deal. He said he was in the opposition for over 30 years. He was in Parliament. And it meet almost 100 years. Now they're hustling to change to pick up the crumbs. We are now in the beginning stages of our oil boom in our oil contracts. And we do not have to wait, like Trinidad and Tobago, 100 years to talk about changes in the contract. It can happen, and it can happen now. Not only in oil, gold, bauxite, and timber, you can get changes in all of them. Any contract you can think of can bring about a change. People ask for renegotiation when they feel or realize that the deal them sign is bad, especially if it benefits one side only. And nothing is wrong with that. We do it all the time. It's not a big deal. Listen, guys, if you tie yourself with an agreement with a man to work for him, that is not concrete. It can be broken. You can say, boss, I didn't know was all this work I had to do for that salary we agree on. Can you please do something better with that contract term? Can we change the timing? Listen, I just realized my wife is pregnant and I got to help out her home. Plus, I just have to buy greens for my parents every afternoon. What is wrong with that, guys? Yes, changes can come. It must come to satisfy both parties. It's done all the time. I have done that many, many times. So this nonsense Exxon is talking about, sanctity of contracts, is damn bull. Telling us that the contract is set in stone. Whose stone? Them stone? But it's signed in blood. What blood are you talking about? In this modern day and age, in this 24th century, guys, that's a biblical term. They want to throw on us, to rob us. And our leaders, your leaders, is falling for that crap, repeating the same language the oil companies them using. Sanctity. Sanctity, me hell. Get the damn people to sit down and talk change. And don't tell this nation, but we hands tied. Tied with what? All our contracts can be changed. You hear me, Guyana? All. And we can become filthy, filthy rich overnight. It's that simple. Let me explain to you what they did to us. What we can do to bring about changes to benefit you and me, all of us. So you can ask your leaders you voted for what is going on. Ask them where is their brains. What happened to their mouth? Guyana, watch them in their face and ask them if them tongue tied with rope or their mouth taped with barbed wire. Please listen to this carefully. Listen how the ball is in our court. We are in control and we can get it done. Listen how them playing us with all those oil contracts them sign in a very simple way so that you all can understand what went on and the game they are playing with you and me. Here is the story. Picture you have no parents and all the brothers and sisters were left with a very large mango field that has hundreds of mango trees. The big brother is left in charge. He is making all the decisions on behalf of everyone. You guys found out that your big brother made a mistake by signing a contract with a company for pick mangoes from 2 of the mango trees only, in which the family getting 2 mango out of every 100 mango the man picks. What would you do? Sit down and stay quiet? Or would you try to talk to the people who get the contract? Right? Yeah, you have to give it a try. That's the only way to know if you can get a better deal. Isn't that so, man?
That is the only.
I will call the guy and say, buddy, hey man, you take advantage Panalawi. My brother ain't too smart, and you ride him. You ride all of us. Look what we are getting out of our mango tree. Basically nothing. Come on. Can you give us something better, please? And of course, I think if we're dealing with reasonable and fair people, they will say, okay, let's talk it over. I am sure if he's a good person, he will say, okay, what you looking for, Glenn? And then you call a fair shot so that both parties can be satisfied and be happy. Not true, man?
That is the only way it is.
But let's say the man is an unreasonable son of a bee and claims the contract is set in stone. Let's just claim that. Let's just agree that. And he say it can't change. It's signed in blood. Just like a property, a transport. If you sign selling me your land, it's done. It's a done deal. Even if you go to court, the judge will tell you you don't have a case. You lose it, right? But here this Guyana, your brother make a mistake with a mango tree. That deal is done. You have to stick with that contract and collect your 2 mango on every 100 they pick. And they walk away with the 98. Let me ask you this. Will you allow your brother to make the same mistake again and again, over and over with the rest of the mango trees?
That you should.
No way. Not again, Guyana. Not when you have the padlocks for the rest of the mango field in your hands. No way. You're not going to allow your big brother to sign another contract without getting a better deal from the rest of the trees. Not correct, man?
Definitely.
That's how it is. You're not going to accept the same deal you guys got from the first 2 mango trees. Would you?
No, when the next one comes, you're going to demand better.
Got you. Yes. You will hold them by their bees and say, we have to make up for what we lose out on the first contract. That's how simple this thing is, guys. The ball is in our court. The contractor got to make up. If not, he's not going to the rest of the trees. Correct?
Definitely.
Good. Yes. You will make sure you get back what you lose out on and demand a better deal this time. You have to squeeze out what you have lost in them too. But let me ask you this. Hear me. Please don't shut your eyes on me. I see some of you sleeping through this radio. If your brother gone ahead and signed more of the same contracts with the contractors, what would you do to him? In which nothing has changed in the same, and you're getting the same 2 mango out of 100. What would you do to that brother? Would you say he's working in the best interests of the brothers and sisters? Not at all. Not at all. Whose interests he's looking out for, man? Huh? Think about it, Guyana. Whose interest that brother is looking out for? Is he filling his pockets? Think about it. The first thing you would ask him, why he did it. Not true? Why he did it. And when he's not saying anything, then one has to begin to think something fishy is going on. Something fishy is going on. So let me ask you this. If you find yourself in that position with your big brother, what would you do to him? I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear your answer. Just allow me to go a little further. Would you stay quiet and allow him to let your livelihood and that of your brothers and sisters' livelihood go down the drain? Where you have to hold calabash and beg for food to eat? Come on. Come on, guys. Wake up. Wake up and stand up. Wake up and fight for your share. All of these oil wealth belongs to you and me. All of us. That same story I tell you there, Guyana, that is the exact situation we find ourselves in with these oil contracts and your leaders. They are our big brother. But there seems to be in a coma to what is going on here with all the approvals them signing away, like if their mother and their father owns the oil field out there and me and you doesn't have a share. Imagine the world is telling us to go back to the bargaining table and sit down and talk, so the citizens of this country can really benefit from their oil wealth. What are we hearing from them, our leaders? Absolutely nothing. All you're hearing is we giving you all $25,000 and we're looking out for a fish. We're talking about a fish license and we're talking about this and we're talking about that. Why, Guyana? Why? Why are they so silent? You see what I mean? Something is smelling in the yard where they live. I don't know what it is, but you have to check their clothes if it is smelling oil. If you smell oil, then they are all sleeping in the same bedroom with the oil players under one roof. You know what I mean? That's where we are with getting changes. It depends on all of you to speak up and stand up. Your lives and livelihood is at stake. Exxon took us for a ride on Liza 1, 2, and 3, which is Payara. That's a done deal, Guyana. Although we could have had them corrected and squeezed out so that we could have gotten something better. Ali, President Ali, and ex-President David Granger, both of them had the keys in their hands to bring about changes in Liza 1, 2, and Payara. And what they did? Absolutely nothing. The mistake Guyana made in the first one, Liza 1, we had the opportunity to correct Liza 2 and Payara. But I believe somebody get a something, and what the country got? Nothing. What me and you got? Yes, we got the same 2% and nothing else. We didn't even get to instill or to ask them to say, man, you ain't paying no taxes in Liza 1. At least give us some taxes. Give us some taxes in Liza 2 and Payara. Instead, they signed the contract and signed the approval just as Liza 1 and Liza 2. And again, I'm repeating, although they know they had the oil, the padlock, and the keys for all the oil fields in them hand, they made no attempt whatsoever to to get a better deal. Yes, Guyana, this is who your leaders is. It sicks my stomach when I see what these guys doing to us all. We have them by their bees and not squeezing them so that you, our brothers and sisters, can live a great life. That's how simple this thing is, guys. The ball, like I said, is in our court. Lisa 1, Lisa 2. We don't get shafted with an $18 billion that we are paying. Now, guess what they were looking for, Guyana? Lisa 4. They're looking for approval from Lisa 4 with another $9 billion on all our backs. This is coming year end. They're going to throw that at us year end, to our leaders. That is what is coming. Our leaders will sign again without asking, squeezing, or demanding anything more. I use that word demanding because, Guyana, like I said, we don't have to ask or beg for change. We can hold it up. We can drag them to the table with it and say, give us this. This is what we want, not what you want to give us. This is not about you. This is about us. And you have to do the rest the same way I am talking about. We have to hold that and hold them and demand right now as to what we lose out on. Yes, Guyana. Guyana has to approve this PIARA, this next project 4, come next year, 2022. Let's wait and see how fast our leaders will sign it. They give it not Lisa 4, just like Lisa 3, they call it PIARA. They give this one yellow tail. Yellow tail. Yellow is in our flag. I only hope that our leaders will see that they are putting colors to which we can say, hey, the color is we own. And we should get our fair share, at least from that color alone, not from the rest. This is Guyana's oil story and your livelihood in a nutshell, guys. I have put it out to you how simple we can get change and how it can be renegotiated. All these contracts. There's another piece of video that I would like to play for you to hear about how the Trinidad Prime Minister went about talking about change of contracts. Can you play? Thank you.
And it would be a hell of a thing indeed.
My God, I love those words. I love that man. The man says, certainly, Man, you should play that back, La Guyana, hear it again. Play it back for me, man. Play it back.
And
Guyana,
it would be a
please
hell
listen.
of a thing indeed if this nation of Trinidad and Tobago, 1.3 million people, total population about the size of one mid-sized American city, with resources of that nature in this business, that we end up in an IMF program for 200 million US dollars while we're leaking $1 billion out of our tax net. It would be a hell of a thing indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have given this country the assurance that under my stewardship, Trinidad and Tobago will not go to the IMF at this time. And certainly, not for a pittance, while we are allowing our resources to go through our fingers because we were sleeping at the wheel.
Beautifully said. Why, Kimal? Why can't we have leaders like that?
Yes.
You hear what the man said? He's not going to no bank with that kind of massive resources they have. And what they have? Natural gas only left. Massive is not a word for Trinidad and Tobago. Massive is the word for Guyana right now.
Yes.
That's where we are. And Guyana, you cannot sit back. You cannot sit back and wait for our generations to come to carry out a fight for a change in this land. It must happen now before they start pumping oil. Please, I beg you, we have to stand up. We have to band together. We have to bind together, because what I am seeing the PPP and the PNC has band together. They bind together, and that is why we're hearing nothing from them. So I tell you, I beg you, we, the citizens of this country, the Africans, the Indians, the Portuguese, the Amerindians, all of us have to bind together to bring about that change now. I will play those clips over and over on this radio station just to remind you people how to bring about changes in these contracts to let our oil riches benefit us. Let us don't sleep. I beg you every night, don't sleep. You hear the man says? The man says billions were slipping through their fingers while they were sleeping at the wheel. I never ever forget those words since I heard them 3 years ago from him. Yeah, guys.
Now, folks, it's time for you. If you want to take part in this discussion with myself and the publisher, you can go ahead and call us if you want at 226-7453. You can also make your comments and your questions on the Facebook Live on Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News. The live stream is there. You can also send me a WhatsApp or a text at 622-2222. So as we continue this discussion, I first wanted to make a comment, Mr. Lall, because you said, okay, first of all, Dr. Rowley's, his statements really echoed with me, especially the parts where he talked about Trinidad not having to go to the IMF for a program to bring their economy back, because it brings me to the present, where I had been reporting a few weeks back and even just the other day about Guyana going to this bank and that bank. Guyana has 9 billion barrels of oil, and Guyana is going to banks in every direction to get money to keep the economy floating, to keep it working well. And we don't have to do that. All we have to get is a fair deal. So just think about that for a second, and I'll talk a little more about this. Mr. Lall pointed out a series of countries that would have seen the need to renegotiate their oil agreements so that they can get a bigger revenue share, a revenue share that respects the dignity of the people of the country and the wealth that they have. And those countries, one or two of them, may have had to wait for 50, 60, 70 years. And you might be sitting down thinking, maybe we can wait a few years. Folks, we do not have 60, 70 years.
Thank you.
We don't even have 30 years.
Thank you.
I did a story that is actually in today's paper that says ExxonMobil only needs 5 oil vessels to produce 1 million barrels of oil per day. They only need 2 more approvals from this current administration in order to get to 5 oil vessels by 2025 or 2026.
26.
So that's showing you the pace that this oil company is going at. And furthermore, an ExxonMobil official said during a Brazil oil and gas conference that they see the potential for 7 to 10 FPSOs offshore Guyana. Those FPSOs can be placed here before 2030. And when they do get there, they'll be producing about 2 million barrels of oil a day if they get away with it. And when I do the calculation, listeners, we don't even have 20 years.
Thank you. Thank
We
you.
don't even have that time.
Thank you.
So in order for us to get the renegotiation we need, we cannot wait for a government to see that a few decades has passed and the people are not getting more than a pittance. We need the people to come out and to speak to the government and tell them what you need. We do not have 70 years, so it's time to wake up.
Thank you, Kimal. I just want to just put a little correction to what you said there. 9 billion barrel. The 9 billion Kimal talk about, it is only
What's proven.
What's proven so far in 3 of the oil wells.
No, in 18.
In the
18.
Starbuck block. In the Starbuck
Yeah,
block.
yeah.
In the Starbuck block. They have many more
That's
to
right.
drill. And then we are talking about all the other rest of oil fields. There are many more hundreds of billions of barrels of oil out there. This is the 9 billion is just what the 9 billion is just the tip of the iceberg. But back to what Mr. Kaieteur said. He said he's ashamed to go to the bank. Ashamed to go to the bank with that massive wealth they have. And we are running every day to beg for COVID-19 $2 million and $3 million. This is beyond shame, Kimal. This is beyond shame. Our leaders are shameless to know what we have there, and you go in and beg for a few cents to share out, to give a handout on. You know, today I was looking at the news in the US, and they are sharing out COVID-19 support to their citizens in the thousands of US dollars. You know whose money that is, Kimal? That is Guyana's oil money. They are sharing out in advance because they know what they have here. You understand? It's like if I know that at the end of the month, I have your salary
Yes.
to come in my pocket, I can start living life. I could start sharing out now with my neighbors and my brothers. That's how I see what's going on in this land. And we want to believe that our leaders are sleeping. I don't think so, Kimal. Our leaders are not sleeping. They are fully awake. They know what they're doing. And you people cannot allow them to continue doing this to us. Please, don't do that.
Then I have something to say. Every miners in Guyana, everybody in the extractive sectors, miners pay 7% tax in this country. We are Guyanese citizens living in Guyana. Our family working here, we pay our taxes at 7%. Why can't our leaders ask ExxonMobil to pay 7% tax, Glenn? That's 7% tax on 1 million barrel of oil a day. At $50 a barrel is equivalent to it will mean 3.5 million US dollars every single day. That is what we are giving away to Exxon. If we just take that 7%, us Guyanese miners, Guyanese in the extractive industry take it, we have to pay taxes to the government. We have to pay that.
I agree with you because I said that we could have held back Payara and said, listen, give us taxes. Give us taxes. You don't want to give us more royalty? At least Bharat Jagdev could have said, hey, give us taxes. Demand taxes. Every Guyanese are being paid taxes. And GRA is running on your throat every hour to pay your taxes. You said gold miners paying 7%. And even that they didn't demand from these people, much less royalty. Suriname, Kimal?
Yes. Suriname is going to get 3 times Guyana's revenue share based on the royalties and the tax setup that it has for these oil companies. 3 times.
It's a shame. It's a shame what is going on here. And guys, you're not hearing nothing from them. Not a single word you're hearing from them. Suriname get 3 times the amount Suriname demanded from oil companies in taxes. And we just allow the people to go. This country is a free-for-all.
But ExxonMobil is getting a better deal than we the Guyanese people again. Who does the resource belongs to?
There's no deal with ExxonMobil, my friend. Exxon is allowed to come and pick it up and go with it for free.
Yes, if you're not paying any taxes, but you're taking it's yours.
But somebody, I'm saying somebody, or a few people, is getting money by the truckloads. You got to figure that out. Sani Abacha of Nigeria. The investigators found out that he used to send a check to the bank and send truckload of money from the bank to his home to be shipped out. And maybe that is exactly what's going on. Because I cannot see, I don't think any one of you can see and understand that you have this thing in your hand and you are not saying, guys, hey, no, at least give us something. Tell us something. As a matter of fact, the Payara approval was given the very next day. A Canadian woman signed off. The very next day, within less than 24 hours. That's the rush our leaders are in. That tells you that they're in bed. They are sleeping with one another. Don't ask me what they're doing. And don't ask me what they're getting. You figure that out for yourself, Guyana.
Who do you think they will ask to review the next development plan, Glenn?
That's a beautiful question. They will probably bring back the same Canadian woman. What's her name? Alison Redford.
And she'll do it in 6 weeks again.
And she can do it in
less than 6 weeks.
She might do it in 3 days. And say, Bharat Jagdev, it's okay, go ahead, sign it off. You know?
But she's not a Guyanese, right?
She's a Canadian.
Right?
They didn't take Guyanese to do it. They have people who can review these contracts. Reviewing these contracts, my friends, Guyana, is to double check and to see what Exxon is handing you on the project of Yellowtail is correct and everything is in order. Is to check whether the money they paid, the bills they're handing you is if it's okay. You can't check something like that in 6 weeks. $9 billion you can't check in 6 weeks. You can't check that in 2 years. But this is how fast they're on the go to grab every bit of your oil in overnight.
We have a comment on our WhatsApp from someone saying, Mr. Lall, the politicians took their part of the pudding, so I guess the rest is for Exxon. It is a shame that all the natural resources we have and so many Guyanese are living below the poverty line.
Well, knowing who these oil companies are, and like what I said earlier, they line the pockets of all the politicians.
Right.
I would like one of them to come on the radio and say their pocket wasn't lined.
Mhm.
You understand? So you line the pockets. So what you expect? You know, if I take your money to do something.
Oh, we have a call on the line. Let's take it. Hi, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night. You're listening to the Glenn Lall Show.
Yes, I like to talk to Mr. Glenn. You know, even talk about the mango tree and the person them the same, right?
Yes.
Now, I have 5 brothers, and the biggest one, he take charge over his mango trees.
Correct.
Right. So when he gives us the opportunity to do it now, he start to sell it, and we get to no share about it.
That's right.
Right. So now when we look after this thing now and we check up about it, we say, hey, we not get nothing about it. Hey, what happened? He said, man, you don't know them, man. We got to give them, and then we got to get something. But we said, we not get nothing. So 1 year gone, 2 year gone, and we not get nothing. We say, here what happened now, you know. You go candid, and we go have to take you out from there now. And someone out of the 4 brothers, he got to be in charge. So the best thing, you don't want to move. You know what we do? We just throw you out, and then one of you go and take charge, and then we start get our things correct.
Yes, but you can't wait too long, because if the brothers sign away all, then what is the next brother going to have in his hand? Nothing. You guys
Yes.
will be left with nothing.
Yes, we agree
So
with that, boss.
whatever has to be done, it has to be done now. We have
Right.
to demand from our leaders right now that they do not sign any other contracts, that they do not approve any other field development plans.
Correct.
And we have to do that now, my brother,
Yes,
not tomorrow.
I understand.
Like
that.
I said, Lisa 4 is coming. The fourth project is coming in December, and you have to wait and see if they will sign on to it the next day when it is handed to them. So it is time for us to speak up now and let our leaders hear us loud and clear that we will not allow them to do that. It's like you have to tell your big brother, no, you will not sign another contract without our consent. That's what you have to do, my brother.
Right. We got to do that, because and if we decide to sign it without we consent, you know, we got to do throw you out of here.
Well, that's my big question. That's
Right.
the big question I'm asking. If he sign on, then you have to smell something there. It means that he's collecting something on the side to which you guys don't know. He
Yeah.
is looking out for his family and himself.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
correct.
And that's what I'm saying in this country. The leaders are silent. They're quiet. They are our big brothers and sisters who are making the decisions on behalf of all of us.
Yes, we agree with that.
And the only way for me to stop them in the tracks, we got to get up and we got to speak up and we got to get out on the streets.
Yeah, but we can't take too long, too.
That's my point. That's my point. Thank you.
You can't take too long at all, because if you take too long, that means that we go eat grass and he go eat the apple.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good.
You see, that's why I want to make this program so simple, so that people can understand what is taking place. You see how we stick to the mango and his
Yes.
brother? That's exactly what's going on in the oil industry, my friend. It's no different. They're moving from one project to the other project to the other project without squeezing out some of the juice for us. Yeah.
Another caller on the line. Let's hear. Good night,
Hello?
caller.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
You know, I really appreciate this oil and gas discussion.
Thank you.
you all. I think this is not emotional talk, as the VP said. But for me, all what you are saying is fact.
Thank
because none of them ain't coming forward as yet and say, look, Glenn, you wrong what you are saying. It's not true. I only hope that they ain't try to put a muzzle on Mr. Glenn mouth or try to cripple his business? Or what if they decide to give you a bite of the cake to stay easy? My new Exxon is a monster company that leave many countries helpless, especially in Africa. I am grieving for those children there.
I hear you.
I'm wondering to know what will happen to us here in Guyana if there is an oil spill. Mr. Lall,
Yes.
just as how Exxon is banging our ocean bed and sending shockwaves to our fishes,
Correct.
I would like you to continue to bang the hammer because it is going on the right nail head so that we can get a better deal and all Guyanese can be happy.
Thank
But
you.
then I would like to know why these politicians is not making themselves available even 15 minutes to discuss with you. But when we were on the 5-month lockdown, election fever, they were coming forward to talk. Why not now? And this is a very important issue, oil and gas, to benefit all Guyanese. We need to see them more on board with you. Look, I am a Guyanese, and it's not that we don't want people to come and invest. We are happy, but it must be done in a transparent way, not in a hide-and-seek deal. But then I would like to ask this question.
Yeah.
Can Exxon milk both the ruling party and the opposition? And one more thing I would like to know a little more about the international intervention in this oil and gas matter.
Thank you.
You all, and I would listen off ear.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You asked several questions there. You asked if they offer me something, if I'll bend my knees. Well, they would have offered, and you know the answer. I don't have to answer you there, but let me answer it this way: if you see my mouth shut and you don't see anything is being written in the newspapers anymore, just know that I have settled for what they have offered me. But let me tell you, it will never happen. I am too much of a blessed human to sell out Guyana, my brothers and sisters, for no matter how much billions thrown at me. I don't live for money any longer. I have said this many moons ago. I want to see every citizen on earth is able to eat and live a good life, not only in Guyana. The cake is too much. It's good enough for every citizen on earth to eat and be happy. But we have greedy people, greedy leaders who siphon it off for themselves only. And that is led to so many billions of people starving all over this world. So that's my question to that. You can answer him to the next question. Kimal?
Mr. Lall, what I appreciate about what the caller just now said was the determination that we need in this fight, and the determination that they saw was displayed by the APNU AFC last year. I was just thinking tonight that they were so determined, and if we had seen even half of the determination that the APNU AFC put into
The fight.
last year into trying to rig the elections, we would have had the oil contract renegotiated by now.
Correct.
Flaring would have been a thing of the distant past. And we really want to work with the political opposition to get some of the things that we've been calling for all the time, but they're just silent all the time.
Instead, they're taking a fish license, in which we have no fish out there, to Parliament, debating a fish license in Parliament. A single fish license. They're talking about legalizing marijuana. And you got to hear the passion in them. You got to see the fight in them in Parliament about a marijuana bill. That fight and that passion should be in our oil wealth, in our gold field, in our bauxite deal, in our timber deals. But there we are. There we go.
Glenn, we the Guyanese have won the biggest lottery in the world. With this oil, find 9 billion barrels in a small portion of the Kaieteur block, right over the Starbuck block. What will our children say in the future that we did not ensure that we got a better deal to make a better future for our children, Glenn? What will we Guyanese people say to our children and our grandchildren that we were there and we did nothing? How can you face your children and grandchildren? What will you say to them?
Well, I may not be around. Taking my age, I'm 25. I can't tell my grandchildren them anything. I'll be long gone. You gotta ask that question to a 15-year-old.
I'll hear it from my children.
Yeah.
All right.
But what would you tell them? You have to tell them something. You have to tell them that you were one of the mouthpiece that was brawling and bragging and shouting on all Guyana to stand up and speak up. Wake up and don't be fooled. You know, like I said earlier, Exxon is urinating on us, on our heads, and say it's rain, and they're telling us we should swallow it, we should drink it. That's what they're doing to us with our oil wealth.
Can I ask you, Mr. Lall, because you said you heard that from a political leader, and I want to know if that political leader has such a strong conviction about that, where is their voice?
They can't say anything. You have many of them in sitting in Parliament, have no say. They have to go with what the leaders want and nothing else. Plenty of them doesn't have no say.
All right. You know what time it is now, Mr. Lall. I'll ask you to give your closing comments.
On tonight's, man, I'm so tired, you know?
Yes.
I just want to say, a father give his son a watch, a 200-year-old watch. It was from his great-great-grandfather. He told his son to go to the jewelry store and find out its worth. The jewel store offered his son $150. He said the watch looks so old. The father sent him to the pawn shop, and the pawn shop offered him $10, saying that the watch is too worn out. Then the father sent him to the museum. He came back very happy and said, Dada, them offer me $5 million for it. Them tell me it's a rare piece and they wanted it to be in their collection, in the museum collection. The father went on to explain, I want you to understand, son, the right place will value you the right way. Don't end up in the wrong place and get angry that you're not being valued. Those who appreciate you will value you. Never stay in a place where nobody can see your value. Know your worth. I choose to tell you that story, Guyana, brothers and sisters, because you need to know your worth and you need to fight for it. You need to stand up for it. You need to speak up for it. Please do have a good night and God bless you all.